my job on this expedition to try and find any evidence, dead or alive.
Welcome to Fort Weird.
My name is Heather.
And my name is Taryn.
Hello, everybody.
How are you guys doing today?
Well, I'm doing fantastic. How are you, Taryn?
I got the giggles.
It's okay.
So, just so you guys know, Heather and I are going to be talking about ourselves, introducing you to a little bit on who we are. The longer you listen, the more you'll learn.
I don't know if that's going to be a good thing.
Maybe not. You'll just have to stay tuned and find out.
Oh, it's going to be good, everyone. We're talking about supernatural and paranormal stuff. Taryn, do you have any fun stories for me?
I do. So I'm not originally from this area. Later on, you guys find out where I'm from.
Which, by the way, we're in Fort Wayne, Indiana.
Good point to put that in there.
Yeah.
So I am 99.999 to the fifth power sure that my house as a kid was and still is haunted. I'm sure you guys have all had that feeling, but I have personal experiences on more than one account on why my house is haunted. The first one that comes to mind was when my brother and I were going on a road trip. It was probably about 11 o'clock at night. We lived out in the middle of nowhere in the hills, and it was about a 30-minute drive from our house to my friend's house. And by the way, my brother was dating this girl. We had to get her home by a certain time so she wouldn't hit curfew. And as we're driving, it's dark, it's probably about 11 o'clock at night, and we're just, kids, teenagers speeding down the freeway, or the back roads. And we're in this curvy section, and all of a sudden, you see the emergency brake pull up, and my brother starts to freak out because he says something is pressing on his foot, and he was hitting the brake. The car comes to a complete stop, and once the car was stopped, there's this lady standing in front of us, and all you could see were her eyes. Now, mind you, we were out in the middle of nowhere, so there was no street lights. All you had was the stars and the moon to light where you're at and your headlights. So when she opened her eyes, the only thing you could see were her eyes. Turns out that she was trying to commit suicide by having the first vehicle that came around that turn hit her. Something stopped our car.
Oh, that's creepy.
That was the main thing that comes to mind when I talk about personal experiences.
It sounds more like a guardian angel.
Yeah, but see, it had a shape to it. Like, it looked like a tall man, but it looked like a shadow. Like, all you could see was the shadow of a man. And he liked to hang out in my brother's closet. Every time you went into my brother's room, there was this feeling that this man was there. Like, that something was there. And every time my brother got into something, this guy always seemed to be there, or like solving the issue before it becomes an issue, like stopping the car from hitting a lady. I can't explain to you. But the funny thing is, when my brother moved out, my mom asked me to remodel that room. Mm-hmm. The entire time I was remodeling that room, not a single creepy feeling from that room.
So, do you think maybe he followed your brother?
I think so, because 4 years later, my brother unfortunately had to move back home, and I was there, back in May, and I went into my brother's room, which was my parents' room, and now it's my brother's room, and that same, hairs on the back of your neck feeling that someone's watching you when you know you're the only person in the house was there.
Ugh. I don't like that feeling.
I don't either, and I get it all the time at my parents' house. / my brother's house. My parents moved out, my brother now lives in that house.
And that's not the only story you have in that house.
No, there's many.
Oh, boy.
Another one that kind of comes to mind is my parents out of town. My brother is living in a different state, so it's just me and a couple of friends. And it was probably about midnight, it's late at night, somewhere between midnight and 3 a.m. And we decide that we want scrambled eggs. We're all hungry, and we want some scrambled eggs.
I love scrambled eggs.
So my friend and the other people that were there, I don't even remember who all was there, went out onto the back porch to smoke a couple cigarettes. And I decided that I was going to make the scrambled eggs, because you know what? I was probably the best cook there. Nobody's home, or my friends are outside. Nobody else is in this house except for me and the dogs. I'm making the scrambled eggs, and then all of a sudden it feels like someone is giving me a shoulder massage. Like there's these hands on my shoulders just massaging it. I freaked out. I turned off the stove and I ran out. I said, guys, I'm not cooking if you're not in the house. I'm just not doing it.
I don't think I would either.
And those were both as teenagers. I had experiences as kids, too.
Well, first of all, with the massage, he was just trying to get you relaxed. He saw you were cooking. He was like, oh, she needs a good shoulder massage.
Yeah, but I mean, if you're going to give a girl a shoulder massage, at least let her know that you're there before you touch her. I mean, that's all I'm asking.
Okay, so your parents' house had lots of dogs. Did they ever, like, go crazy or anything?
I had one dog. Her name was Tracy.
Mhm.
And she would never go to the garage. Doesn't matter. If you dragged her in the garage, she would freak out whenever she was in the garage. And if she was with you, she was fine. And if she was in her crate, she was fine. But if she was just loose, she's kind of like, how would you explain that? Like tweaky.
Jumpy? Oh,
Tweaky.
Tweaky. I like that word.
It's a good way to describe her. And I had cats. Like, you'll notice, at least in my opinion, that if you've got a ghost in your house, watch your cat. Because your cat will be asleep, and all of a sudden it will jump up and run.
Well, cats do that anyways.
Yes, but if you're in a house where you feel like you have experiences, watch the animals, because they'll tell you. Like, if you're home alone and your dog's in the house, and all of a sudden your dog's kind of like staring off into the corner,
Oh, yeah.
maybe something's there. Maybe the dog's picking up on something that you haven't picked up on yet.
I have heard that. It's animals and children are more aware of that kind of stuff than, adults are. Do you know anything about the house that you grew up in? Like when it was built, any of the previous owners, if maybe anyone died at the house?
So no one died at the house, and no one died at the house that was listed. And the reason I say that is because I had a whole bunch of experiences at the house, and that was only 2 of many stories.
Oh, we'll get into more.
I'm sure we will. But so my brother and I decided to do some research on the house to find out, did somebody die here? What's going on? Why is this place so freaking creepy? And unfortunately, no one had died. The house that I lived in, it was the oldest house in the neighborhood. The street was actually named after the guy that built that house. So we don't know if anybody died on that, but it is also out in the middle of nowhere. So what if somebody died there prior to the land being built? What if someone was buried there prior to anybody actually claiming that as their property?
That's true. I mean, out in Nevada, could be on the Indian burial ground for all you know.
Well, that, and it was only 9 miles away from Virginia City if you were to go up over the hills.
But I want to talk about my house when I was younger, but I also want to do a whole episode on that with my sisters.
So why don't we save that one?
Yeah, we're going to save that one. Ooh, I can tell you a fun UFO story, which my oldest sister was also there for. We went down to Indy. So we went down there for a concert. We had a great time. It was a lot of fun. My sister had a little bit too much to drink, so she couldn't drive. I was underage, therefore I didn't drink, because I couldn't. So we're driving back. It's around 1 a.m. I'm around the Muncie area, which is about an hour...
In between.
Yeah, it's fairly in between Fort Wayne and Indianapolis. And I'm just driving along. My sister's zoning out, looking out her window, and random chatting. What you do on a road trip. And I look out my window. So we're going north. So I'm looking northwest. Just kind of off in the sky, and all of a sudden, I see a light, and this light, it was on the ground. I saw it light up, and then all of a sudden it rose in the air, just straight up, and it just kind of, moved right, and then it moved left, and then, it just did really, odd movements, it wasn't a plane, because planes go in a straight line.
Yeah, destination.
Yeah, so they're not just going to move like that. So what I was watching, I'm just staring at it like, what in the world? I know it didn't last too long. It probably lasted maybe 10, 15 seconds. And then all of a sudden, it just shot up across the sky, and I couldn't see it anymore. And literally at the exact same moment, me and my sister said, "Did you just see that?" So I'm like, oh, good. It's not me. I'm not just like sleep deprived and seeing things while I'm driving. But I highly doubt we would have saw.
It's the fact that both of
Same
you
thing.
saw it at the same time.
Yeah.
I had a UFO experience as well, but mine did not turn out to be a UFO.
Oh, well, this is interesting.
So, I was a nerd in school. We're just going to get that out there right now. I did before school classes. I took a full course my senior year. And then I had an after school class.
Nerds are good.
I know, right? We're best at everything.
Yeah, we are.
Anyway, so I had a really long day at work, or at school. Work for a kid. But school. I get home, so it was a 30-minute drive from my school to my house. I get home, my mom goes, guess what? We have to go to Oregon to meet up with your grandma. Which was a 6.5-hour drive.
Ugh.
Mom goes, I'm not feeling good. Can you drive? Like, mind you, I'd already been up since 5 o'clock in the morning. I'm probably 17 years old. But we're driving 6.5 hours.
Yeah, no.
So we're about 3 hours into this drive, right? And all of a sudden, and it's a straight road, pitch black. You're in the middle of nowhere, a side road, somewhere between Nevada and Oregon, nothing around you. All you see is my headlights in front of me, right? My mom's kind of half asleep, half awake in the passenger seat, and I'm just cruising along. All of a sudden, I see this light behind me. And it looks like it's just like zooming away. Like it's just flying behind, like it's like hovering behind me,
Oh.
right? And I go like this, and I move to where so I'm not looking in my rearview mirror anymore. And I look out the front window, and I don't see it. I'm holding onto the steering wheel, and I look behind me, and I don't see anything. And I look back in the mirror, and it's there. And then all of a sudden, it's gone. I'm like, Mom, did you see that? She goes, what are you talking about, that car? She had seen a car come at us and pass us, and it was driving away. I didn't see the car coming at us, or I don't remember seeing the car. Like, you know, like when you're really
Oh, yeah,
tired and
automatic
sometimes you just
driving.
kind of like zone out.
Yeah.
So I did not see the car pass us. All I saw was its taillights in my rearview mirror. I was convinced it was a UFO until my mom said it was a car. I'm like, you gotta be shitting me, right? As I said that, it turned sideways because it was a turning road. I'm like,
Yeah. There was a car.
it was a car. So my UFO experience was a car.
It was a car. So it was no longer unidentified.
Yeah.
You identified it.
But it
It
was
was
still,
a car.
I still call it my UFO experience and that was my one and only experience with the UFO.
That's great. Oh, that's a good story. I enjoyed it. I think I'm gonna tell you a few facts about Fort Wayne. Just not like supernatural weird facts, just fun things maybe to know about Fort Wayne. Fort Wayne is known as the city of churches. What's another great thing about Fort Wayne that not many people know about?
It's very, very green. And I know that sounds weird. Okay?
It's not what I was gonna say, but
But when you come from a desert
mm-hmm.
and then you move to this state, you're like, damn, it's green.
Well, not many people think about, because Indiana is cornfields, right?
That's the thing you think of, but there aren't, like, there's cornfields.
Which I'm not going to say there's not cornfields.
There's definitely
plenty of
cornfields, but they're not, like, everywhere.
No, and it's a very
If
green
you go
city.
on a drive, you're gonna see cornfields.
Mhm.
If you go from town to town, you're gonna see cornfields. But
Mhm.
while you're in that town, yeah, unless you're on the edge of it, you're not gonna see cornfields.
Well, I mean that's not true. There's a couple places here in town that actually is a cornfield.
Like in Fort Wayne.
Yeah,
Like within
the city limits,
Huh. Interesting.
in the middle of the city. Which
Well,
it's whatever.
I'm not a
but-
city person, so I kind of stick to the edge.
Anyways, what I was gonna say is that Fort Wayne is actually an extremely haunted city. But yeah, so more Fort Wayne facts. Our main library here in downtown Fort Wayne is one of the top 3 libraries for genealogy in the country.
Really?
Yes. So, if you're really big into genealogy, come on down to Fort Wayne. Our library is fantastic. Another fun fact about Fort Wayne. We have lots and lots of cemeteries.
Yeah.
And they're all in not all of them, but a few of them are in very odd places.
Like in between a freeway, like
Like in between a freeway It's the
there's
tiniest little
It's
cemetery.
like six people. 6 or 7 people.
Oh, there's more. There's like 10. But yeah, so there's tons of cemeteries. There's tons of stories about all of these cemeteries as well.
Oh, yeah.
So we're going to get into a few of those in the future. That's going to be fun.
Though I still have to admit, the creepiest cemetery I've always at, the creepiest cemetery I've ever been to was the one in Virginia City.
Well, that would be creepy considering it's a ghost town.
Well,
All right. Well, Fort Wayne is a very rich, interesting city. Not many people know Fort Wayne even exists, but it's funny because Fort Wayne is the second largest city in Indiana, which just floors me because whereas Fort Wayne, sure, it's the second largest city, it doesn't feel like it.
you are right. Fort Wayne, Indiana, it has this small town feel. Depending on, like, you go to a different part of town and it has a different feel to it. Like, you go southwest versus southeast, it's going to have a different kind of feel. But no matter where you go in the town, and it's a rather big...
Other than downtown.
Other than, like, right downtown.
Yeah.
The city, it's a big city. It's a rather large city.
Yeah.
But it has that small town feel to it.
It does.
Not like that, like, small town out in the middle of nowhere where you just have, like, one store.
No.
But it's got,
I mean,
like that small town, one high school, one
Yeah.
stop kind of feel to it.
It does, and I always loved that. And I do want to let you guys know how me and Taryn know each other. She's my next door
That's me
neighbor.
laughing, sorry.
She's my next door neighbor. And I am actually a very introverted person.
I wouldn't necessarily say introverted, but you are kind of...
I'm quiet when you first meet me.
You gotta poke and prod to get you to talk.
You really do. And you're not the only person who's ever said that to me.
And look at us now.
Look at us now. The reason we became friends was because Taryn came over here one day while I was sitting in the garage, and she sits down and starts talking to me. Like, you know, you're going to be my friend and that's it.
So, backstory to
So.
that. My husband and I had just moved into our house.
Mm.
I'm still new to the state. I don't have any friends. And I'm that type of person that I have never met a stranger. If you want to talk to me, I will talk to you. I don't know what we're going to talk about, but we will talk. And my husband worked second shift, and he was at work, and I was bored. Dogs were asleep. No kids yet. I'm like, I went outside. It was a beautiful night, and I noticed that my neighbor had her garage door open, and she was smoking a cigarette. And I had quit cold turkey. And I'm like, I really want a cigarette, but I didn't have any. So I walked over to the neighbor's house. I'm like, hi, I'm Taryn. He goes, hi, I'm Heather. Can I have a cigarette? Sure. He hands me a cigarette, and I sit down and we start talking.
Mm.
And here we are, 4 years later, still smoking and still talking.
Still talking. All the time.
All right, so what is... I know you don't want to talk about the ghost story that happened to you at your house.
I
but
mean, I
what's-
can tell you my version, but I
No,
can't.
I think we should wait until your
Okay.
sisters are here, because I want to hear it back to back, like your version versus their version, and then their
Okay.
comments about your version.
Which is fine, because they're going to be like, you're completely wrong, shut up.
Yeah. But still, so what's something that's happened to you, like, more recently? That you found, anything supernatural, anything that you find weird or odd that's just different?
Okay. I have 2 different things that I could tell you.
All right.
I'll tell you the one because it seemed odd to me. So, me and my husband, Tyler, were on a date night. We were driving down a road. It wasn't like night, it was twilight, so the sun was going down, but it was still kind of sort of like light but dark at the same time.
Yeah.
So we're driving down this road, and I'm looking out the window because I never get to look out the window. I love it when he drives so I can look out the window. And next to, like, on the same road, I see something that looks like a giant cat-like thing.
Okay.
But it looked more like a cross between a cat and a dog.
Interesting.
It was super weird. It was walking the opposite direction of where we were going, and we passed it, and I'm like, did you just see that? And he goes, no, what are you talking about? I was like, there was this big animal on the side of the road. It was huge. It was like the size of a tiger, I feel like. It could have just me, my brain, you know, over-exaggerating, but I don't know. It looked huge, and I kept going, turn around. I got to see this thing. Turn around. And he goes, no, I'm not turning around. We're almost there. I'm like, turn around. I got to see it. Never turned around. I hate him to this day for that. Because I wanted to see what it was. I didn't get a good look. But I can describe what I think I saw was, again, large animal. It was all black. It had a long tail. It wasn't bushy. It was just a long, straight tail.
Kind of like a short-haired dog's tail.
Yeah, like a greyhound. Greyhounds have long tails. Yeah, like a greyhound tail. Yeah, so it was like that, and it was walking like a cat walks. So you know how a cat walks between what a dog walks.
A dog more like glides, where a cat more like prowls.
Mm-hmm.
Like a cat's on a hunt, where a dog's just kind of strolling.
Yeah, it looked like more like it was proud. It wasn't crouched, but it was just, you know, walking along. But the head looked like a German Shepherd. Like it had the pointy ears, and it had a longer, narrow snout.
Interesting.
So that's why it was like,
Hellhound!
oh my god. I just thought it was a weird cat-dog hybrid, you know. So that was my one weird, creepy thing.
So the creepiest thing that, like, the first paranormal activity that I can remember as a kid. So it was, I don't know if it was a weekend or it was a Friday. I was probably somewhere between the ages of 6 and, like, let's say 8. 6 and 8, right? Somewhere in there.
Mm-hmm.
And my dad was outside taking care of the animals. My mom was downstairs taking care of my brother because my brother wasn't feeling good. And so I finally got the TV to myself. Like, hallelujah,
Sweet.
TV is mine. And we had cable. I'm like, perfect. I finally get to watch my cartoon on the big TV. And as a kid, you know what that means. Like, yes, I got the parents' TV.
Oh, yeah.
So I put on cartoons. I'm sitting in my living room by myself because we had a split level house. So my mom is downstairs with my brother and my dad is outside. There's nobody else in this house. The controller is in my hand and I'm watching cartoons. The TV randomly changes to a news clipping about a shooting. And I freak out and I switch it back to my cartoon channel real quick. And at the same time, all of a sudden I have this cold presence, like, that's all of a sudden right next to me. Like, just on one side.
Ooh.
So, like, on my right-hand side, it feels like there's this cold presence, like there's this cold air right next to me. And I switch it back to cartoons, and I'm like, oh my god, what was that? And I throw a blanket over me because I'm cold. I'm like, what was that? The controller's in my hand again, and all of a sudden it switches to a history channel about shooting. And I'm like, I start freaking out, and I change it back to the cartoon channel. Now I'm like clutching the controller to my chest. Like, there's no way this TV controller can change the channel. I'm holding it so no one else can hit the buttons. And all of a sudden, something in the kitchen flies off. Like, something that was on the table, it flies off and hits the floor. And then my dog runs underneath my feet, and the TV channel changes to something else. And I immediately put the controller down and go downstairs and sit next to my mom and my brother.
Yeah, no.
My mom's like, what's wrong, sweetie? I'm like, nothing, I just missed you. Because, you know, little kids, when they freak out, they're like, nothing's wrong, I just missed you.
No, right. Yeah,
Yeah,
right.
that was the first, like, creepy thing that I ever felt as a kid that I remember.
That's creepy. That is very creepy.
That's one of my ghost stories from my parents' old house. But I'm telling you, yeah, that was my first one that I could vividly remember. But yeah, a lot of creepy things happened at my parents' house. A lot of creepy things.
I'm so excited to delve even deeper. We're
Yeah.
gonna do like a creepy story of the month with Karen.
We've got those. We've definitely got lots of those.
That's gonna be great.
I don't know if, like, I'm, like, those things are, like, I don't know if ghosts are, like, attracted to me or if I just, like, more open to them or what it is. I don't know. But I have lots of experiences and they still creep me out.
You know, very first episode. I really hope you guys enjoy it just as much as we have. the episodes will probably get longer with the more things we delve into. We just wanted to introduce you to ourselves, who we are as people, the city we live in, maybe the other fun things that we're going to eventually talk about.
Definitely talk about.
Definitely talk about. The next episode is going to be a good one. It's going to be about an urban legend here in Fort Wayne that many people in Fort Wayne are going to know. So if you Fort Wayne people are going to be listening, you know, it's going to be a good one. You're going to really enjoy it. And even if you don't live here in Fort Wayne, it's very interesting. You guys are going to like it.
I'm excited because I'm ready to learn about that. I love urban legends. There's so many of them. Well, I hope you guys tune in next week or next time we post.
It'll be next week. You'll get one every week. It's going to be a good time. Thank you for tuning in. Join us next week. It's going to be good. All right. Bye, guys.
Bye.
This expedition to try and find any evidence dead on arrival.
To the existence of this